I, Donald John Trump,
Jr. do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States,
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
So help me God.
We will re-elect Joe Biden.
There's nothing beyond our capacity when we work together. We're the only nation in the world that's come out of every crisis stronger than we went in.
The man can't put two sentences together. He can't find the stairs off a stage. And just a little note to Nikki. She's not going to win. She's not going to win.
With Donald Trump, you have one bout of chaos after another. This court case, that controversy, this tweet, that senior moment. You can't fix Joe Biden's chaos with Republican chaos.
Right? And I hate to think that we're constantly navigating the lesser of two evils, as I call it. And I think a lot of voters feel the same way. It's you stand up and you're like, which one is the least damaging to what we want here as the American lifestyle?
All over again.
Probably going to say the same thing everyone else says. That's a lot of age between the two of them. I think they will combine on election day to be like 160. That's old. I think there was certainly appetite for choices.
I think this Biden-Trump fatigue is very real. Political scientists definitely feel it. I think many folks in the country are feeling it, and it's only going to get worse as the year goes on if Trump does indeed win the nomination. I think that if you see a fall off as a result of that, that probably favors Trump because his supporters are more enthusiastic about him as a candidate. I do think, however, that as the election wears on, the contrast between the two of them is stark enough that even if voters are tired of it, they're going to realize that the implications of choosing in this election are really significant.
I think that since there's like an age limit to be president, there should also be a cap, you know, because both of these presidents were alive during segregation. And like, I want a fresh president, fresh blood.
I would absolutely vote for a third party or an alternative party, someone who isn't a Republican or a Democrat. And I actually would prefer to vote for someone who's not a Republican or a Democrat.
I think the political powers from the 90s have stayed in for too long, and there's not a younger crop coming up. So I'm worried for the future, considering there's not been a bunch of grooming for younger, candidates, or whether it's Senate, House, or President, obviously.
He's not going to remember anyway. Sorry, Ike.
Biden hadn't did a bad job, but I just believe that when it was Republican, I feel like at the end of the year, my finances was better.
I think if the candidates focus on issues, you're going to see three really bubble to the top. One is going to be immigration. Nobody's got a good solution for it right now, but both sides are upset about it. Independents will care about that as well. I think a second issue is going to be civil liberties, civil rights, particularly things like abortion, LGBTQ rights, where there's a real clear difference between the parties on those sort of culture war issues. And I think the third thing is likely to be the constitutional questions of, are we going to be a democracy, or are we going to bring in a president who's already shown a willingness to ignore the Constitution in some areas.
Second subject.
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe.
We're moving on.
He didn't take them.
Well,
Vice
it's a very-
President,
but Chris,
no.
Can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
He stood up.
No,
He stood up,
the answer to
and
the
he
question is
threatened-
no.
I think in this case, we kind of know what both of these men are going to do for the next 10 months. They know what they're going to do for the next 10 months. I think the only real question mark is whether Biden makes some progress in Congress on immigration or not. And so I think we're really just in for 10 months of these two yelling at each other and telling us why the other side is going to ruin the country on specific issues or more generally. It's going to be an exhausting 10 months, I think.
It's too partisan right now. It's either you're all the way left or all the way right. There's no moderate candidate at the moment. Even if Biden wins re-election or Trump wins, we'll still have a very divided nation. But I don't know. We're still hopeful, though.
Yeah, we're hopeful.
We're hopeful that we'll have something bright that's going to happen in the future.
Today, both sides aren't really very good. I think both sides are kind of both jerks. To be honest, I'm more independent than I am either side.
Can I ask who you voted for the last election?
I voted for Trump. Yeah.
I'm not a Trump fan, so my hope is that they find somebody that better represents the party.
There's a lot of things that Biden has done which he's not getting credit for, which probably have been very positive, but nevertheless, he doesn't come across as very forceful. And we're in a pretty tough time right now. I mean, the whole world could go to war, and I think we need some really tough leadership. We need experienced and tough leadership.
I did not vote in the last one, and to be honest, I probably won't in this one because I don't like any of the candidates.
I'm hoping Trump wins because, well, Trump, he did a lot of good while he was in office. Yes, like all presidents did, he did a little bad, but mostly good. He really turned the country around, and I really hope he does it again.
But I know some Republicans who have decided since January 6th, when we had the big insurrection at the Capitol, that that's disqualifying. It's not a majority, it's not a huge number, but again, in battleground states, you're talking about very small numbers making a difference in the general election. And so I do think that Trump's going to have to find a way to expand his base.
I voted for Joe Biden last time, and I will be voting for him again this time. There are a few policies that he enacted in his term that I agree with. Some of them I think could be better, but I still think by far he's the best candidate.